My life in Elmwood, Boston was pretty ordinary. Our street was a blend of old Victorian homes and the chic modern structures. Come winter, Elmwood would transform. Houses wrapped up in soft layers of snow, the distant smoky scent from chimneys, and the occasional hum of a car breaking the icy silence. I loved our two-story house. Blue as a clear sky, it had a charm that made it stand out. Inside, the aged wooden floors creaked softly, the walls adorned with a mix of modern art and vintage family photos, and a kitchen that was my haven with its state-of-the-art appliances, but a vintage charm. It was one of those cold evenings. Mark had left early that morning, mentioning some out-of-town work meeting. Alone in the house, I reveled in the peace. After some chores, I picked my favorite red mug, watching steam rise as boiling water met cocoa powder. I settled into the plush couch with my cup, enjoying the warmth against the cold window panes. Everything felt serene. My only company was the soft tunes from the radio, until a fleeting movement outside the sliding glass door caught my eye. I strained to look, expecting maybe a stray cat. But there, near our garden shed, was a man. He was hunched, clutching a plastic bag, clearly trying to stay unnoticed. All sorts of thoughts raced through my mind. Was he a thief? A stalker? My once cozy living room suddenly felt too exposed, and every little sound seemed amplified. As much as I tried to brush it off, maybe he was just a homeless guy seeking shelter, I couldn't shake the icy fear gripping me. The moments stretched like hours, even though it was just minutes. Torn between the need to hide and the urge to confront, I hesitated. The memories of all the late-night conversations with Mark about possible break-ins and threats flooded back. I remember him always saying to call him first, no matter what. Trusting his judgment, I snatched my phone from the coffee table. My fingers trembling with anxiety, fumbled to dial his number. But before I could hit call, a chilling text reached my screen. Turn off the lights. Stay quiet. My thoughts raced, tangling with fears and worst-case scenarios. It felt as if the walls of our cozy home were closing in on me. However, a glimmer of hope sparked when I remembered the new security cameras Mark had insisted on installing. I quickly grabbed my tablet from the side table, launching the security camera app. The live feed showed the stranger in the backyard, and to my relief, he seemed startled, making a hasty exit towards the street. But a more sinister scene played out as I rewound the footage a little earlier. This man had been near our bedroom window, his intentions unclear, but undoubtedly ominous. The exterior lights in the visible camera seemed to have chased him away, or so I thought. We decided to call a town meeting, as it was high time we looked out for one another. Ideas were thrown around. We explored every option, from setting up neighborhood patrols to installing more security cameras. It was a typical quiet evening in Roseville, Northern California, where I was home alone. My parents were away, and I enjoyed my independence, engrossed in video games and munching on pepperoni pizza. The only light in the room was the glow from the TV, which added to the cozy atmosphere. However, as engrossed as I was, an unexpected shrill ring from our old landline phone jolted me out of my gaming zone. Glancing over, I saw John flash on its tiny screen. I eagerly picked up, thinking he might want to chat about some school stuff or some gaming tips. "Hey John," I chirped, but there was no answer, just an eerie stretch of silence. My heart, usually calm, started to race a little. I could only hear this faint, uneven breathing that wasn't mine. A solid minute passed, feeling much longer than it was, when John's whisper reached my ears. "Alex, did you just prank call me?" Confusion swept over me. "No, I just picked up when I saw your name. Why?" More silence. That cold feeling crept up my hands, making them feel heavy. My fingers tightened around the phone. I arose from the couch, looking around my once familiar living room. The glow from the TV, which comforted me now, seemed to mock my sense of safety. As we tried to figure it out, a soft sound from upstairs grabbed my attention. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. We had another phone in the study. Mustering all the courage I could, I made my way to the wooden staircase. Taking each step slowly, trying to make as little noise as possible, I approached the study. Each creak of the floorboards felt like a shout in the haunting silence. With every step, my sense of dread grew, but nothing could have prepared me for what I saw when I reached the top. In the faint light filtering in through the window stood an elderly man. His back was to me, but even from that angle, I could tell something was off. His clothes looked like they had seen better days, worn and torn in places. His posture gave away his age, a slight hunch and a general stillness. But the most unsettling part, the faint voice I heard coming from the phone he held to his ear. The same raspy breathing I heard earlier echoed back to me. Panicked, I quickly descended the stairs and rushed out of the house, seeking refuge with Mrs. Patterson, my neighbor. She was surprised to see me in such a state, but immediately turned off her TV to help. I explained what had happened, and she called the Roseville police. The police arrived swiftly, their cars quietly parked in front of my house. They went inside and soon emerged with the elderly man, Mr. Wilson, who was gently handcuffed. Officer Daniels approached us and explained that Mr. Wilson, who had dementia, used to live in our house and had mistakenly thought it was still his home. Officer Daniels took time to check on me and discuss safety measures for the future. Although the situation was resolved peacefully, it left a lasting impression on me about the unpredictability of life and the importance of being vigilant, even in the safety of one's home. In 2017, while home alone for the first time, I relished my newfound freedom, albeit under my parents' strict safety instructions. As night fell, strange noises outside, resembling footsteps and murmurs, disturbed my peace, but I brushed them off as my imagination, turning up the TV volume. The morning sun streamed into the living room, waking me from an uneasy sleep filled with strange dreams. I brushed off the remnants of sleep, decided to start my day. That's when I noticed him. A man I hadn't seen before stood outside the house opposite mine. He wasn't doing anything particular, just staring intently at my home. Each time I tried to get a better look, he would tactically move out of sight. It felt unsettling. The constant feeling of being observed made the spacious house feel small and claustrophobic. I decided I needed to do something and protect myself. I locked all the doors and windows, double-checking each to ensure my safety. My heart raced as I heard a bang on the door. I peeked out from the window, but no one was there. As the day turned to evening, I noticed that the man often lurked around my house, even at odd night hours. It felt like he was always there, watching my every move, waiting for the right moment to strike. I tried to convince myself that it was all in my head, but the evidence was mounting and becoming impossible to ignore. With each passing moment, my anxiety and fear grew. I felt trapped, suffocated by the unseen presence that seemed closing in on me. I knew I needed help, but who could I turn to? My parents were still out of town. To ignore creepy incidents, I decided to watch some TV. I turned on the local news channel and was shocked to see a breaking news report. Displayed on the screen was a mugshot of a notorious criminal who had recently escaped from prison, and he bore a striking resemblance to the man who had been watching my house. I felt my stomach drop as the reporter explained that the escapee was considered extremely dangerous and was known for a series of violent home invasions. Suddenly, it all made sense. The man had been observing my house and waiting for the perfect chance to break in, but I was not sure. That night, as the darkness crept in, my senses were on high alert when I heard the sound of glass shattering downstairs. The man had finally decided to break into my house. My heart raced, and I quickly hid in my bedroom closet. As I huddled there in the darkness, I managed to pull out my phone and dial 911. I whispered my address and the situation to the operator, who had assured me that the police were on their way. All I could do now was wait and hope that they would arrive in time. I could hear the criminal searching through the house. His footsteps were approaching my hiding spot. I held my breath, praying he wouldn't find me before the police arrived. Finally, I heard the sound of sirens approaching, and the man's footsteps suddenly grew more frantic. The police arrived, apprehending the criminal before he discovered my hiding spot. Relief overwhelmed me as I emerged, grateful for their swift action. Upon my parents' return, we shared a tearful reunion, thankful that the ordeal was over and I was safe.